Dollar bets, dollar bets, dollar bets. What up, everybody, on a wild Wednesday morning?
Woo!
Good morning, Z.
Yeah, good morning. That's a rarity for me. I've been up for a while, and when you're like, "Hey, the show, we gotta do the show," I was like, I had taken it. I came to my parents' house, and because I had to get to do something this morning, and we were by, and the cat was like on the couch. I just like curled up to Kitty, and then you were like, Kitty left, and I was about to sleep, and you're like, "Hey, we gotta talk sports." I was like, "You're all Superman. I'm good. Let's talk sports."
Yes, I totally interrupted a Wednesday morning nap, didn't I?
Little kitty nap. Ooh, little cat nap.
10 a.m.
So
nap. I know
yeah,
about a
but
10 a.m. nap. I'm not above a 10 a.m. nap.
exactly. It's Wednesday, but we're still thinking about Sunday night.
Well, before we get to Sunday night,
Yeah.
we got to go chronological. Let's
Okay.
talk about Sunday afternoon.
Hmm. What about it,
What
sir?
happened with your Bears?
I don't know. I didn't watch a single down of it because I knew they're dead.
They are dead. All
I had a
right, so
meeting and I was wanted to be at the meeting longer, so I didn't even have to know the score.
here we
I knew
go.
they
This
would
this is
lose.
our opening segment for Dollar Bets today.
Yes.
It's a little game called Who is Dead? So we are going to
Yeah.
take a look at the NFL standings and we are just going to decide which teams, not necessarily mathematically, but from the eye test, are they're no longer in the playoff picture. Like we are at the halfway point. Teams have played nine, some teams have played 10.
Yeah.
Who is so yeah, we're just
So
technically
over. We're cusping. We're cresting over.
yeah.
We'll save that bear. Well, the spoiler, at least one of us is going to say the Bears, at least one of us. But we'll save that one for the very last of
Yeah,
this
so
segment.
let's go alphabetical and start with the AFC.
Okay.
And I've got my standings up here, and I'm just going to go from the bottom up.
Hmm.
And you can, I'll say the name, you say if they're out or in, and if we disagree, we'll talk.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great,
All
man.
right, here we go. AFC, Jacksonville Jaguars, 2-8,
Dead, dead,
dead. Uh, Las Vegas Raiders. Even when I'm
dead.
reading it on a sheet of paper, I had to think about what city they're
I know that's
in.
funny.
Two and
Deader than
seven.
dead. Deader than dead. They're starting Desmond Ritter. That is as dead as you get.
Yep, dead.
Yeah.
Tennessee
Coach
Titans,
dead.
two and seven.
Both those coaches are gonna get fired. Titans are dead because they don't have a quarterback yet.
Yep,
But their
dead.
future, I don't know their age of their defensive.
They've got a really strong defense.
Yeah,
They got to figure out the quarterback situation.
yeah.
Yeah,
They should get a free agent.
they should do that.
Yeah, go do it.
Cleveland Browns, 2 and 7.
Dead this year, but their future was is less dead than it was.
What do you think about them keeping Jameis Winston beyond this year?
Uh,
Possibility
is,
or no?
yeah,
Is he a solution at quarterback in the NFL?
is his deal past this year?
Um, that I don't know, but do you see him being a starter in the NFL?
Yeah, for a bad team as a bridge. No, that I mean that like that's his ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean he's not gonna start for like a good team. I mean, who? Because that's the fallacy. Is like, what good team needs a quarterback? Because there's bad teams that have decent quarterbacks. So, like, what good team like needs one?
So
There's
I
really good teams that could
personally
have
I think he's a
upgrades.
better quarterback than Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
I
modern Watson post a massage parlor spree
Okay,
Watson.
well,
Yes.
whatever it is that brought Watson down, although I was never high on him to begin with.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I mean, does Jameis Winston have a late career turnaround potential a la a Baker Mayfield?
Um. No, not a
I'm
la
on the
Baker
fence about
Mayfield.
this one. I'm gonna need more time,
It's not
but
a la
yes,
Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield is doesn't just play as recklessly. He'll
yeah,
mess up sometimes, but he'll tries to keep the play going. He's also I don't know, Winston does is gonna have some decent coaching down this stretch here. Stefanski knows this is his path to saving his job. I think he can kind of iron out some of his problems, but I think he still averages 1.5 interceptions a game and probably two to three touchdowns a game. Maybe they
okay,
can revitalize Chubb and get him cheap. Um,
yeah.
But they've unlocked Tillman and Njoku, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's good.
So
Tillman's a second year player, so anytime a
so
second year,
dead this year, better next year.
yeah, dead. Well, not necessarily better, but like I just don't think they should break the bank on Shedeur Sanders when you're still paying Watson's contract forever. I just don't think another flashy guy, I mean, a more flashy
Yeah.
guy, hopefully less of those problems. I don't think that's the answer. I also think Cleveland's not going to get the number one pick. So, no. Who's next? What's on next, Lloyd?
Yeah. All right. Moving along. Let's fly through a few more of these. We got
Yeah.
New England 3-7.
Dead bright future.
Yeah. I agree with that. New York
Jets.
Jets 3-7. I'm gonna say dead without a bright future.
Dead. Not necessarily because you're getting a different coach. You got Garrett Wilson, Adams, and the running backs. So, and the defense is decent. It's just they just there's not bad vibes. Bad vibes building. They got to fix that.
Yeah. Yep. All right, now it's going to start getting interesting because it's been all dead so far. At
Hmm.
3-6, we got the Miami Dolphins who just beat the
Dead.
Rams.
Dead. Possibly, I don't want to say anything about
The answer for you?
that's a bad seg with Tua, but like he's not doesn't have it. They have a good receiving core. Their defense is getting better, but the Rams just played scared. They played cowardly football. I'm not saying they're cowards or the coach is coward or anything. Usually not the case. But there was, did you watch that one or were you sleeping?
I did not watch it.
Oh, there was a, that's okay. You didn't miss anything. I really thought the Rams would just kind of make it either win or be in a close game. And they just played, they capitulated essentially the
Yeah.
entire game. All those quick throws they were getting out against Detroit early in the season, before they had a decent, like before Jared Verse and a couple other young guys came on, like their defense played fine. It's just like their offense just imploded, and I don't understand. But I saw enough of an anomaly in that game with Miami to say they're still dead because they'd have to win 9 games. Are they going 6-2 when they play Buffalo once and maybe some other teams that are decent? I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Will I analyze
If
Miami
it
Dolphins?
prevents me from saying dead, yeah, I'm not saying dead on Miami. I think
Why?
if, and obviously this is a big if Tua can stay healthy, this team has one of the best package of weapons players in the NFL, which means in a game that becomes a shootout, they've got a puncher's chance of winning every single game.
Yeah, but their quarterback is punch drunk.
So I could easily see Miami getting on a winning streak.
I think you have to go over their schedule now. I refuse
Oh,
to, but since you were saying they're not dead, you have to.
all right.
But they
I
got
will
one game
pull
against
that
Buffalo.
up. Let's move this along while I look that up on the side. Next
Okay,
up is Cincinnati at 4-6.
not dead.
Not dead.
No, they were a 2 point conversion away from maybe beating the Ravens. They played the Ravens close twice. They can
Yeah.
score. Their
All
defense
right,
is
hold on.
not
We'll get to that
great,
in a
but
second, but here we
yeah,
go. Here is Miami's schedule. Back to Miami. We got Raiders at home, Pats at home, at Green Bay, Jets at
loss.
home, at Texans, 49ers at home, at Browns, and at Jets. There's a lot of winnable games there.
They've already played the Bills twice.
They did, and they lost them both. All right, so again,
I see 8-9
Miami
at
not
most,
dead.
9-8. Nah, they're dead. They're dead.
They're dead. All right,
Allerbet dead.
Cincinnati. Let me take a look at their schedule because they are in a tough division. They are
Allerbet
at
Dallas.
Chargers,
Dolphins are dead.
Steelers, at
Loss,
Cowboys,
loss,
at
loss.
Titans,
Or win. I mean,
Browns,
win.
Broncos, at Steelers. That's a harder schedule than Miami has.
Yeah, but they are a better team than Miami. Like
They are
their
a better
parts are
team.
their parts are better. They got nice parts.
Well,
Yeah,
record-wise,
Burrow is
they're
so much better
half a
than
game
Tua.
better.
Burrow isn't the world's better than Tua. Eh? Eh?
I'll say not dead, I guess. You've talked me
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
All right. Here's one I think we'll agree on. Indianapolis, they're also 4-6.
Dead.
Dead.
Because they're
Um,
they're not playing for the future. The coach is worried about his job, so he's playing Flacco.
yeah, dead. And they
So
got the
which is
Lions
equivalent
coming
of
up, so there's
equivalent of
another
faxing
loss.
companies stuff, the orders instead of like going digital. You're like, let's go back to the fax machine. Let's do that. You know what? We're not faxing.
All
Our fax game needs to improve. Let's go to Flacco.
right. And,
Idiots. Just put
all
Richardson
right.
out there.
And
Make
that's it
sure he's
because now
not
we're
the
at the
guy.
top seven.
Okay.
So yeah, we're at the top seven, which is Denver at 5-5. So really, the only teams that we think who are not in it currently, if the playoffs were to start today, are Indianapolis and Cincy, and I said maybe Miami.
No, since he's not dead.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, Indy's dead. They're
I'm
dead.
sorry, just Cincy has a chance, and I said Miami. Not yet. Take India off that. My bad.
Yeah. You
Okay,
said Miami.
cool. Let's go to the NFC.
You think too much
All
of
right.
Tua, but like the schedule makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. NFC,
Here we go.
so
NFC.
Alpha.
We got 2-8 New York Giants dead.
Toad dead.
Okay. Carolina 3-7
Dead.
dead. They
Their
have won
future
two in a
looks
row
less
though.
shitty than before. What's that?
They have won two in a row, but yeah,
They're dead.
dead.
Yeah, dead.
New Orleans is
What? You're breaking up, man. You're Detroit Wireless again.
also 3-7.
What? Who?
Dead.
What? Who?
Cowboys 3-6.
Hold on. I'm trying to tell you something. Your wireless is messing up and you're just powering through. You're powering through. You're not hearing. Try again. Were you saying New Orleans?
Trying again.
No, you're just straight up. This is a horrible radio. Try again. Go away. Come back. All
Dallas
right. Go.
Cowboys.
No, before the Cowboys.
The Saints.
Okay, Saints dead. Next.
Yeah, dead.
Dead.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Cowboys at 3-6.
Way dead. Beyond dead.
Beyond dead. Yeah.
Beyond dead.
Quarterback out for the season. Enough said.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Tampa 4-6.
Tampa's 4-6?
Can you believe it? Well, they've lost four in a row.
Not dead.
I agree.
They got a good offensive coordinator and they got Baker Mayfield and good running game. And they're in a shitty division.
Yeah. Now, currently in the NFC, the number seven team is 6-3. So
That doesn't mean anything to me.
no, still plenty of time.
Yeah.
So that was a not dead from both of us on Tampa. Seattle 4-5.
Dead.
Let's say not dead.
I've seen too much of them. Their coach is a meathead moron, and he was involved with the Wolverines cheating stuff. And well, he coached. Sorry, he coached there while it was going on, while it first started. He is not good. He's younger than us, so he's a baby, and he's been making. I mean, their overall game plan is they don't seem to have one. Seattle and Atlanta have no business not being way better, and both of them just continually step on their own dongs. Okay, and it's just not fun to watch. So if you bet on them or you have fantasy players on them or you like MSU players and Kenneth Walker and Kirk Cousins, you watch it, you're like, what is this shit? What am I watching? What am I watching? And they're because of that, and also because I don't think the NFC West gets three teams, and I think San Francisco or Arizona win that division. I just don't think they get in, and I know I put them in the playoffs earlier, but I didn't know their first year coach was going to be a first year buffoon. Maybe it'll get better, but hopefully not because I don't like Wolverine source thing.
On that team.
What's
Yeah.
that?
The only thing that gives me hope on that team, and this is because I think Gino has taken a step back from last year, is Kenneth Walker. I mean, that
Oh
guy
yeah.
he's a weapon.
Tell that to the coach.
Well,
Is he getting
I'm telling
22
you.
carries a game? He's not. Spoiler, he's not. He's not getting 25 touches a game. It's like you have a quality-ish backup in Charbonnet, so like emphasize your running game to set up play action so Geno Smith doesn't do old Geno. He goes old Geno when you make them the primary pass to do what? I don't understand. Kenneth Walker's a monster. And then he can get a spell, but every time like they started throwing to him finally a little bit. And you're like, he could catch. We just never Mel Tucker's a moron. They never threw to him at MSU, so they're like, "Oh, he must not be a pass catcher." Like, throw him the ball. Let him drop it, dude. Same thing with Derrick Henry. Throw these guys the ball and let him drop it. What was
All
that?
right. This is me switching screens.
Oh, well, you're on two things. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. I went from camera one to camera two.
Ooh, I like camera too. Can see your
Yeah.
torso. You've been working out,
Um,
bro.
you know this. All right. Blowing the whistle. Here we go.
Yeah.
What was that? That was Seattle. So 4-5 LA Rams.
Dead.
Thank you. I don't even want to talk about them. Here's the one I want to talk about. Also 4-5, your Chicago Bears.
What's the word for when you're clinically dead and you still have signals of your body signals?
I'm not a doctor, so I don't
All
know.
right, no, they're in the situation where the family has to decide to pull the plug or not. And I'm
Yeah.
the family.
So they're on life support, is what you're saying?
I'm the last remaining family, and I have to
Do you
decide
have
and
power of
make a decision.
attorney?
I have power of attorney. It's like power of attorney over your like dearest relative that you know is like always a piece of shit, but they're your dearest person. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's my decision, my choice, my Bears, my choice. I don't know. Here's what I'm just gonna say. I am going to hate watch them, and if they show a pulse on offense, I will declare them as zombie Bears. Okay, if they somehow beat the Packers with a different
Yeah, what's the
offensive
stat? Have they not
execution,
scored like an offensive touchdown in the last two games? Is that correct?
23 drives actually.
Yeah. All right. So I asked you a question last week. I'm going to pose it again. That question was, did the Bears select the right quarterback in Caleb Williams? Last week
Oh,
I asked it after his matchup with Jaden Daniels. I'm asking it again after his matchup with Drake May.
that must have been 2 weeks ago because they played Arizona before that, before the Patriots.
You sure?
It's impossible to tell because flat out the Washington almost said the R word of their former name. The Commanders hired Kingsbury, who freaking interviewed with the Bears, and the Bears, judging from the language, they chose Waldron, and they didn't lean towards Kingsbury. And who's working with Jaden Daniels right now? Kingsbury. Who coached? Who is the quarterback coach or a special assistant with USC when Caleb Williams was there? Kingsbury. So what did you just do it for intel and then you interviewed him, you fake interviewed him for intel? Is this guy a good quarterback? Blah, 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 blah. And like, no, like that's one of those things that's like it's impossible to tell. But if they have another offense comes in there and and there's still some struggle or a lot of struggle, then yes, they would I would say no, and that would go back to my original fear-based thoughts. The eye test said Daniels, but the talent overall arm talent, brain talent says Caleb Williams. But like you put Jaden Daniels in a good offensive scheme with an experienced guy with a mind. Shane Waldron's mind is applesauce with bourbon in it. He's a moron and he's fired. He's gone. Okay. He's gone.
Applesauce
Bye.
with bourbon sounds delicious.
It sounds pretty good. I'll go off the wagon for that. I'm gonna have a Shane Waldron brain cooler. That's gonna be my drink of choice when I go off the wagon. If the Bears haven't taken me off the wagon though, I don't know if anything will. Maybe, but maybe, just maybe. No, I'm gonna say I can't say they didn't. They definitively did take the right quarterback, but my reasoning is I've seen even in a crappy scheme or a crappy whatever, setup, he has had moments where he's just like definitively looked better than Daniels, but Daniels has been more consistent, right? And what is the primary reason for that? I think they're really close, and I think it's the coaching. It's obviously the coaching because it's not even the weapons. Like McLaurin and DJ Moore kind of cancel each other out,
Yeah.
or they did before this year. But
All
I
right.
think the secondary weapons are better in Chicago, and they're just not being used. And
Okay. But so back to the original question, you have them as not dead, but on life support, right?
yeah,
All right. Well, I have them as dead.
well, you should, you should.
I
I'm
should,
just saying,
and I
like
do.
they made a change, and so it's
Um,
like that's what makes them on that they're on vegetable brain stew with me deciding to kill them, and my
all right.
choice will be made by the second quarter of Green Bay.
Blowing the whistle. Here we go. Last one in the NFC. We got the 49ers who are 5-4.
Why are you including them? Not dead. That's a
I'm
poor
including them
inclusion.
because
You're
they're
stepping over. You're killing
technically
the
not in the
lead.
playoffs
Stepping
right
on the
now.
main point. Skip them. Skip them.
The only reason I'm including them is because they're not in the top 7 right now. They're out of the playoff picture.
They're not out of the playoff picture when they're half a game out of their division.
You know what I mean. Stop
No,
arguing
I think that
semantics.
was journalistic oversight needed to happen there.
Okay. Yeah. So in the NFC, we still have a lifeline out to Tampa, and I had Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay. And San Francisco on your journalistic oversight. All right.
Hmm.
Cool. So I think that's it for the NFL.
You mean
Um,
what the bot for the who's dead? I mean, when you want to talk about the Lions?
I do want to talk about the Lions,
Good.
although I really don't have much to say. It was an
I do,
ugly
but
game. It was an ugly game. If you were a fan of either Detroit or Houston, you hated watching that game. Obviously, for two different reasons. Yeah, a win's a win, but and the Lions defense looked great, but that was absolute garbage by the Lions offense. It wasn't just
I don't
Jared
think they
Goff. Jared
looked
Goff definitely
great.
had a bad game. The running game couldn't get going. Nothing went well that day until they just got enough chances from their defense and finally
Yeah.
started
I
getting some
mean,
short fields and
what is
came
your
back.
definition of great defensively?
What's that?
What is your definition of great, like defensively?
Um, well, I mean, not giving up any points in the second half is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's nice. That's obviously good, but you
Couple of
said great.
interceptions,
You said great. That's two turnovers and a sack or two. How many sacks did they get? Three, two?
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay.
4, I think.
Pretty good. I'd say pretty good. But you said great.
Yeah, I'm not walking away from that. That was a great effort by the defense.
Effort, yes. Performance, I'd say pretty good. But you said great. You said
Yeah,
great.
dude. I mean,
Here's
they
what's
gave up the
not great.
23 points to short fields in the first half. You know, you can't
What
fault
about
them
the
for that.
maybe you lost this in your heart attack, but the pass interference where they run into a guy 30 yards down the field that's not it was like Hutchinson or Mechie, and you're like, this isn't even Tank Dell. Like it was like I think it was like a third down, and it's probably a third down, and they gave up like half the field on a pass interference. I was like, these guys still can't cover anything. They can intercept, but they can't do simple stuff. And it's like,
Yeah,
is that
that
the
was
scheme or
Terrion
is that the
Arnold,
player?
who is definitely had his issues with the yellow flags this
Okay.
season. He's a
It was
rookie. He's
Arnold, you
got to
said?
learn. What?
It was Arnold?
It was Terrion Arnold, yeah.
Oh, he is he the rookie this year or was it last year he was the rookie?
No, he's the rookie this year. He was the first round pick out of Alabama.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean, so that's the only thing that came out to me. It's like also they gave up receivers all day. They just made plays. Like they were like it made me think of watching the 2006 Chicago Bears Arizona game where it was just like, are they gonna seriously let this team win this? Like this is great. Like what is happening? They're playing like ass. And the difference is the team that you got is still more offensive oriented, and that team was more defensive oriented. But Goff looked at a sub Grossman level nearly the entire game. Does that concern you?
It doesn't concern me because this was the anomaly. We've
This is not
seen
the anomaly.
It's just
The last 6 weeks are the anomaly because they were running the ball really well and they were doing play action. You notice when Goff had a clean pocket, he still looked fine. He still looked good. When he didn't, and not even a dirty pocket, if it's even moderately soiled, like I do to myself all the time, if it was even just you look at it, you're like, oh, that's I didn't expect that. If it was even a little bit dirty, what does he do? Oh, throw the ball on the ground. Oh, throw the ball to the other team. Oh, take a sack that I don't need to.
okay. Listen, first of all, as I've already said this was a horrible game. He was throwing balls in the dirt on Sunday night that when he wasn't even under pressure. Like something was
Yeah.
going on with Jared Goff
Pressure
in this
gets in
game.
the pressure gets in his mind. It doesn't have to be extreme
All
pressure.
right,
You know,
you're just making
I
things
watched the
up
whole
right
game,
now. No,
dude.
because here's the thing: if you
Watched the whole
actually go
game. He
ahead
looked
and take the
horrible. He
time to look at
looks
the cybermetrics, the whole narrative of Jared Goff struggling under pressure is a fallacy. His numbers are still among the top quarterbacks when he is under pressure. His completion percentages, his yardage, his touchdowns under pressure against the blitz, he is still one of the best quarterbacks. You have this thing in your head that you think he's a horrible quarterback. It's not a
I've
true
never said
thing.
he's a horrible quarterback. I just said he's not
But
great.
you
He's
can't
not.
give him any amount of respect or credit ever. He had a
I didn't
bad
say
game.
that.
I think it's an anomaly. I'm not worried about it. I
Hey,
think
hey,
he's
oh,
about to
someone's defending
go
their team a
absolute
little too
ape
much.
shit on Jacksonville this week.
Someone's defending their team out of the hidden fear that it'll never happen for them.
Oh,
That's what I
well,
think
listen,
because
I've already put my money where my mouth is, so
I'm
nothing
neutral
else
on
I
it,
can
and
do
I just
beyond
see
that.
him throwing ground burgers like he's sending like little league shots off the bat in practice. Here you go, son, and it's just like there's no one in his face. They
Yeah,
crossed. It's like
listen,
crossed
I
the
am
pocket
not
at all.
arguing that it was a horrible game from him on
It's not
Sunday.
a made up. It's not a made up stat. I was watching him before he was a Lion too, and they discarded him for a reason, man. And you gave him an extra 2 years at 50 something million dollars, and it's gonna bite them in January. But at least you'll get to January. At least in January, you won't be refreshing the sports media and just seeing which crappy coach you hire. Because that's
Yeah.
what the Bears to do. They're not getting Ben Johnson. They'll probably get Glenn. They'll probably be like, "Oh, their defense improved so much." Blah 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 blah.
All right.
Let me throw
You're just talking
mediocre money
frustrated
at
because you're
Glenn.
already in mock draft season. All right.
No,
We
but
got to get to college football.
okay. Who's this year's
Um,
number one pick quarterback, Jared Goff, that will eventually never win anything?
it's honestly, this is such a weird quarterback class. Like
Yeah, it
it,
is.
it keeps reshuffling. I think the concern with Sanders is legit, you know.
What is the is it a maturity concern?
Okay, I guess the concerns are
Oh,
legit.
what are his other concerns?
'Cause that's definitely one of them. No, I don't think he's enough of a pocket passer.
He
I
doesn't
think
scramble.
I think his instinct is to run.
Wait, what?
What?
Are you talking about Sanders or Milrow?
No, I'm talking about Sanders.
All right, go over Sanders' rushing stats. This is when you need to research to back up your claims. Because I go on eye test, admittedly a lot, but you are pulling information out of the sky. He usually gets like 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown, right?
Yeah. Oops, wrong button. Do you know offhand what his rushing yards are?
No, exactly, because he's not primarily a rushing quarterback. That team
Here we go.
doesn't run at all.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I bet you he's not even in the top 30 of quarterback rushing yards.
that I have no idea, but he
Oh, so you just
he actually, according to the ESPN stats, he is second on his team in rushes.
yeah, Colorado
Now I
doesn't
don't know how much of that gets
they
um
don't run, dude. They don't run. They're just
okay,
not a
but
running team.
he runs. He tries to escape too often. He doesn't stand in the pocket and throw it enough.
They have a bad offensive line that is not as bad as last year. He's their whole team with Hunter, dude. He's their whole team.
Yeah, Hunter is definitely that team.
Yeah, no, I don't think his uh compared to the other quarterbacks especially, I don't think his pocket presence is the problem. I think it's like, well, this guy's gonna implode, right? Look, like he's wearing like $1 billion on his neck and he's got a flashy car and he's already doing the stuff that his father did, but his father was really freaking good at sports ball. So it's like, where does he go? Can he handle the bright lights? Because all he wants is bright lights, right? I don't know. I mean, but the thing is, I think he's number one or two with Milrow right now, and the other guys all
So
crap
I've been
themselves.
looking at some of the mock drafts, and
Yeah,
pretty consistently, you are seeing three quarterbacks in the top five or six picks, and there
really.
hasn't really been a consensus order, but it's been Sanders, it's been Cam Ward from Miami, and it's been Miller from Alabama.
I haven't seen Milrow in Alabama in a mock draft for like at least a month in the top 10.
You haven't looked
Where
in
are you
a
looking
month.
at? Mockdraft.webs.nz or something? New Zealand? New Zealand
I
mock drafts?
Google mock drafts and I hit up the CBS one and the Fox one and the
No, no,
ESPN
no.
one and the
Did you do it
PFF one.
before this week? Is what I'm asking you.
I did it on Sunday while watching
That's
NFL games.
Yeah, that's not before this week. Milrow must have shot up incredibly because he should have because he ran all over LSU.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like this has been such a weird class. Like they keep going up and down. Like there have been other names that have been up there.
Yeah,
Like Beck from Georgia's
terrible.
been in there.
I don't understand that. It's like, hey, your team wins a lot. It must be because of you. Like what? It's just like the
I
opposite.
think
Like,
it's just
hey, your life
grasping for
doesn't.
straws because it's just a bad quarterback class. I Here's my prediction.
Sanders and
Quarterback does
Milrow,
not go number one in the draft.
a quarterback won't go number one. Um, I could see I could see a team trading up and taking Sanders, but if it's New England is number one, Carolina or the Raiders would take Sanders. I think the Raiders and Giants would take Sanders. I think the Browns
That's
would not. I think Carolina would not. I think who else wouldn't? Jets if they slip that far. Same for Dolphins. Like any team that has like 3 wins or less or 4 wins or less, I don't think is going to. Yeah, the number of teams that are capable of pulling the trigger on that. First off, I think every other quarterback is not going in the top 10. Cam Ward looked horrific. My buddy was saying the whole time, and I thought he's just because he's a Florida State homer that they missed out on Cam Ward because they didn't pay him enough. Is was just like, yo, you're just bitter or something, like because you grabbed DJ Ugalugli or whatever, Ugly, and your team stinks, and your coach got a Tucker level contract without a Tucker level gift buyout situation where they jerked their way out of it. Um, if I was a Florida State fan, I'd be praying that this guy just like does something um to himself, if we will, to mess up that contract. Because that's a bad contract. Because I guess stinks. It was all Jordan Travis and Verse and Coleman, right? So before we blow the whistle, this does relate back to the quarterback situation. Cam Ward, he doesn't make other reads. He doesn't respond to pressure unless he just throws the ball out for a 50-50 with good receivers. I wouldn't take him in the first round at this point. I saw enough. I mean, Georgia Tech is fine. They get a good linebacker, I think, but they're not like that great. And he just imploded, completely imploded. The coach is terrible there. He didn't probably guide him much at all. He's made a few leaps and bounds from Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami, but that next level of going to the pros, I think he's gonna have to start, mid rounder as a backup if teams are smart because they'll know these other teams aren't going to like go in for a quarterback, right? So I'd say Sanders
so
goes to either the Vegas or the Giants, and then Giants would trade up. Because if Vegas is number two and they're sitting there 3, 4, 5 Giants, don't you think they're going to go for it to trade up to one or two?
I can't make that prediction. Here's what I want to say actually to what you just said about 10 seconds ago. If teams are smart, like at some point, I want to see more GMs figure out that drafting a quarterback, like at the very top of the draft, when your whole team is garbage and you don't have an offensive line to protect them,
Hmm.
is not the move to go with, right? Like They're
Right.
not going to be able to develop as an NFL quarterback. They're either going to get hurt or their confidence is going to get completely shattered or
Well,
both, or you're
I
just
think
going to give
that's
up on
more
them
than
real
a half
quick.
truth. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, they're either going to get hurt, their confidence is going to get shattered, or you're going to give up on them because they can't get you wins because you have a trash team. So I think this could be a year where we just,
I feel
I think
seen.
maybe it was 2 years ago where there was like one quarterback taken in the first round.
Yeah, it
Like,
was 2022, 2023.
yeah, so
No,
two
20
drafts ago.
2022,
Like,
2022.
hopefully we see something again like that. Like, let's see teams build their trenches, build their skill players. This is a bad quarterback class.
It's not deep. I think two of them could work out, and we've said what the two were. Maybe some other ones that are like fifth rounders might be gamers, guys that were hurt sometimes that can win you games that are tough. Um, I think what you said was I'm gonna say it's 71% true. And the
71%.
29%, well, most of the 29% is Peyton Manning. Okay.
Peyton
Peyton Manning
Manning.
was number one pick. He threw a bunch of interceptions, got sacked. I think Caleb Williams is going to be that bridge between David Carr getting sacked and ruined, coached poorly, sacked, ruined, and then Manning, which was like, well, we just let him go out there, threw a bunch of picks, but he's not throwing the picks. He's just getting hammered by the Patriots had, I think, the one of the lowest pass rush rates, and they got 9 sacks on him last week. And there
Okay.
was a point where like Shane Waldron was trying to say something that he thought was like humorous to Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams kind of looks at him, and as soon as as Waldron looked back away, he's like, just shook his head at him like, this clown. I mean, so, but yeah, here's the thing: if there's a clear number one on the board, or even a number one and number two in my eyes, a lot of people weren't that high on Daniels, but like he's so good. So there were a clear one and two this year, right? I mean, Drake May has potential, but he didn't play a lot. Um, I think that the issue there is you take the player when their measurables or whatever are that good. But if you don't, and here's the thing, the Bears like had these receivers, whatever, Komet, and they had a good defense. So it's like you think he's gonna be fine, but you hired a grade one bum to be your offense coordinator, and your line stinks. Your line wasn't that great, and then it got hurt, and then your line depth proved to be abysmal with that combination of the coordinator. So
Wait, are you
yeah,
back to talking about the Bears again?
no, you're talking about quarterbacks. You're talking about number one quarterbacks. Who is the
Yeah.
number one quarterback? Bryce Young recently and Caleb Williams. They're interconnected with that trade, but the Panthers definitely made the wrong move. Clearly the Bears had the defense. The problem is they didn't have the leadership. Yeah, they don't got the leadership, man. So you're saying you should never take a quarterback high. I think that's not true, but
I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm
you
saying if
said
you have a
these teams
bad team that
are
you
going to
can't
catch on.
protect the
Okay,
quarterback.
here's the words I will take out of your mouth and put back in your mouth. These teams, when are these teams going to catch on that you don't take a quarterback high if you're not don't have good players? And I'm saying if they are the best players available, find a way not to mess them up. You don't have to play them right away, but don't mess them up and then get the lineman and then get the defense. But like a quarterback on a rookie contract is the most valuable thing in all of sports. They need to fix that, but it's the most valuable thing in all of sports. So by year three, he's making rookie money still, but you might have a team around him. It's just don't mess him up. Don't Chicago Bears him. Don't dare David Carr Texans them, right?
Okay.
Don't be the
You are
Bears.
still a rookie. You're still on a rookie contract, not being picked at the top of the draft.
Okay. Yeah, Brock Purdy would have really worked out every other team. So would Tom Brady, right? Of course. It had nothing to do with going to the 49ers and the Patriots. Nothing. Belichick coaching them, Shanahan coaching them.
Yeah. All right. Should we
Okay.
move on?
Yeah.
I like this. We've had a lot of disagreements today.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's the
I can
point of the
handle you being
show.
wrong. I can
That is
handle
the
you being
point
wrong
of the
about stuff.
show. All right. We got talk a couple of things real quick. In a different sport, we're going to move on to basketball.
Okay.
Um, College basketball.
Mm.
We've
We
got a
skipping
rant.
NBA? We skipping
We'll go to
NBA?
the NBA after this, but we have a rant
No,
for
NBA is
college
boring.
hoops.
This NBA is boring in November. Let's go to NBA first.
Okay, go for it. What do you want to say about the NBA?
It's boring in November and December, and
Enough said.
most of like you can't bet on it effectively. Most people
Too many
don't. It's one of
injuries.
those.
So many injuries right now. It's like the 2 years ago when everybody was injured in the playoffs, and it was
Oh yeah, that was not fun.
that's like what's going on at the beginning of this regular season.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the Celtics don't have any injuries, right?
Mm, isn't Porzingis out?
Well, he was always out. He got them the
No.
one seed, and then he didn't play in the playoffs much. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
the biggest injury. I
Jalen
think we can
Brown
talk
has
about
missed
this.
like a handful of games too.
Okay, Holmgren. Holmgren getting hurt is uh-oh.
Yeah. And that's as we were talking about before the show, like this is not an injury he's coming back from quickly. If this is a
No.
broken iliac bone, which for you non-doctors out there is part of your pelvis, like this is something that literally old people die from. So
Yeah.
he's obviously not an old person, but this is not an injury. If that's a complete fracture of his iliac, like
You
this
can't
could be a
walk with
season.
that, right?
Yeah, definitely can't run and rebound.
Can you can't run can't walk, can't run rebound, you can't walk. That sucks though. I mean, you were talking about before we started like how just his fragility is something you always suspected and it's like yeah, yeah, honestly, he's built like
He's got to be just
Lou
downing
Will was.
protein powder for his whole recovery process.
Yeah, I think his game has to be like light Nowitzki for his career to go anywhere after this. I just
Yeah.
don't think he's ever gonna have the frame to bang in there. And it's not like there's a lot of stretch fours that are really bangers anyways. Well, the Jaren Jackson Jr. comes to mind, JJJ Spartan,
Triple
but
J.
Triple J. I don't know a lot of other guys that are more like that stretch four variety. Um, that are Holmgren has some burst around the rim, but it's gonna go away, I think. And it's just like I don't know, man. I think you ride it out with him, but you might consider if you're Oklahoma City, we have all those picks, you trade him.
We shall see.
He's not their most important player. Their
Yeah.
most important player is SJ, and number two, their most important player is their flexibility with the trading and the cap. That's a
Yeah.
player in itself. Yeah. Anyone else that's been hurt that you're like, oh, you didn't know Maxey was hurt, right?
I didn't know. I just saw that in the box score this morning. What's his
I
injury?
like his game. I like his game. I don't know his injury. He's out a few more weeks, but or a couple more weeks. I don't know. Time goes slow. Time goes slow in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's just like they try. What do you think of the NBA Cup, by the way?
I like it. I like it, but I mean, I like it because it's something that they've taken out of European soccer, which I'm a huge
Exactly.
fan of.
Yeah. I was gonna
Um,
thought you were gonna say you like it because the Pistons could theoretically win a banner.
do not put those words in my mouth.
Yeah, you do. The best part is that like this is the year that the Pistons would get a little bit more lottery luck, but they mess up and be like the 9th seed, and so they get to the 4, and it's like a 3 Hall of Famer draft. Hey, we jumped 4 spots. We're not cursed, and it's like,
No.
yeah, you're cursed. Like you took the.
Yeah, they're
It's a big
cursed. They've had the
flag.
worst record the last 2 years and ended up with the fifth pick both years.
Yeah, who they take
They
this
could have
year?
had
Is he doing good?
Wembanyama.
They could have had one Benyama.
All right, stop making me
Mm,
sad.
I'll make it. Talk about the Bulls. Poke the Bears. Bear.
Nah, let's get to college.
Okay. Okay.
'Cause We,
Flag.
we really wanted to talk about this rant.
Yes.
Um, and thank God this is the last year of the COVID year, but these fifth year seniors are ruining college basketball.
They're ruining everything.
They're ruining
They're
the
ruining
world.
everything. No, it's like not only did they get 5th year, but it coincided with the NIL, which NIL, I mean, it's an imperfect system. It's a huge step in the right direction. because I personally think, oh, you might disagree, but for every college graduate that doesn't necessarily thrive in a single field, that bounces around a bit, do we know anyone like that? Uh, that doesn't have the wherewithal to at least, uh, create value for themselves with podcasts, with whatever that is, writing, sports writing, um, turning tricks, whatever it is, you know, you need that money because your degree is being devalued by the system. So, and they're steered towards uh, unmarketable majors, some of them fake. Looking at you, Roy Williams, North Carolina, piece of shit. That's still the worst scandal in academic history, I think, um, educational history. And I don't know that, but they're making like these guys, these fifth year players, basketball, non-red shirts, are probably making what what's the low end average these guys are making? 50K, 75K and a college degree that they're probably getting a master's by now in something being handed to them. Not handed to them, but they get tutors, you get food. The 75K you deserve, but not if you're a fifth year player, it's like you don't get NIL, but you can still play. That's what I would have said this year.
Yeah. So I mean, and I read this on a in a blog comment section earlier today, and I think it's
Okay.
actually a very valid point. A college freshman is what, 18 years old,
17 and 19, yeah.
17 to 19. A fifth year, or we've even seen some 6 year players, is how old then?
23 to 25
Yeah. It
to
is
26.
not fair to have, and I think this is even more true in basketball than it is in football, just because
Oh,
there's
way
so many.
more.
Yeah. You cannot have 23, 24, 25-year-old players out on the court against 17, 18, 19-year olds. Like, just from a physical maturity,
Yeah, and
it
you're
gets
not even
exaggerated when
because
it's just five players on the court. Like,
yeah, you're
yeah,
getting
Hunter
23-year-olds
Dickinson,
against 22-year-olds. That's all you're getting.
you should be better than a freshman, Hunter Dickinson. Congratulations. You've been in a college campus for 6 years.
Oh, that guy's a piece of shit. Swear jar
Right.
or so
No, no,
I
that one I'll
hate
give a
that guy.
pass. I'll give a pass on that one.
Did you see the point? There was a point, listeners, where in the Michigan State Kansas game last night, Dickinson got the benefit of a goaltending call, and he proceeds to do the too small thing at center court during a time right before a timeout, and then pretended to stomp on it. And we're like, "What are you doing, dude? That you didn't even make a basket; they goaltended it. What are you doing? What's wrong with you, you sick fuck?"
Yeah. I hope bad things happen to that person.
Dick
He's a
Skin
he's a
needs to
villain.
graduate. He needs to take his degree of sorts. And
Communications.
hey, man, easy, man. I'm
That was a low
communicating right
blow.
now, man. Hey, Michigan State did not have a proper writing program, so I took something broad that was interesting to me. So,
Yes, there you go.
but college is bullshit. Don't go to college.
Don't go
And
to
don't go for
college.
5 years playing basketball.
It is not
Go
worth the
do
debt.
something
End of
else.
rant.
Yeah, not worth it. So I didn't get to see Flag play yet. I'm still a Flag virgin. But he had 26 points, but apparently had some turnovers. Kentucky
Uh,
shot well at three.
we did need to discuss this because we brought it up briefly in an episode a few episodes ago.
Okay.
Right. He's going to be the number one pick in the NBA, right?
Oh, yes.
Teams
Yes.
are going to tank for him. So, what do you like better? Is it fail for Flag or flop for Flag?
Let's capture the flag. That's what we went with,
Well,
right?
that was what we named, but it's what the NBA
That's
teams
better.
are,
It's better because you can be like,
because
we're capturing it.
capturing is a positive term, and what these teams are doing is certainly not positive. And plus,
It's
we need the
definitely
alliteration.
positive.
We need
It's
the alliteration.
100% positive if you, first off, it would be floundering for flag. Okay.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, but it's
Flounder for Flag.
capture the flag because of the graphics. You take the Iwo Jima like flag thing and you replace the soldiers with like the Pistons and the Bulls and like the Jazz, and there's this flag, and he's like, "Call me," and he was like, "This is sacrilege or of some sort."
I think you were right with flounder for flag.
At least I didn't say that on Veterans Day exactly, just Veterans Day adjacent.
Flounder for flag. We've come up with it. All right, we're gonna end the show on a real quick thing.
Okay, what's up?
One of my sports that I enjoy and you try to abstain from as much as possible, but we got some big things coming up in combat sports this weekend.
Oh, really? Why are people going to choke each other?
Friday night, listen to this. Obviously, you don't know. Friday night, Mike Tyson comes out of retirement.
I know that. I know about that.
Yeah, so that's this Friday night. He is taking on YouTube star. What's his name?
Jake Paul.
I was about to say
Logan
Chris Paul.
He's taking on Chris Paul, Paulie Walnuts. It's going to be on Lifetime. It's going to be a good fight.
It's going to be on Netflix, actually.
It's on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix or at least somebody's Netflix password, you can watch this fight Friday night.
Netflix and thrill.
Who you got? You got Tyson?
They will not. The powers that be will not let Paul win in a hollow decision. So, because that's boring. How many rounds are they supposed to do? 12?
8 2-minute rounds.
8 2-minute rounds?
Yeah. Special stipulations for a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. Also with extra heavy gloves, 14-ounce gloves instead of the traditional 10.
Well, okay, you know more about the combat sports, and I'm glad you were talking about boxing. So the glove issue. Why? Just explain the physics real quick to our listener. About the 14 versus the 10 and how it's safer.
Obviously, it's going to hurt less with extra padding.
Okay, it's the padding. The padding is so thick on the 14 that's the weight doesn't matter. Okay. And it's harder to swing it?
No, it's not. It's just when you get hit in the face, it's not going to hurt as much.
They're not going to hit in the face. They're friends.
It's a gentleman's fight.
Dollar bet. Do you think I could go 8 2-minute rounds with half of YouTube or more? Men, let's be clear.
Wait, what?
If there were other YouTube fighters out there, that guy can actually fight. But if there's other YouTubers, like YouTube pranksters and things like that, YouTube, like the people that like sit there and do those videos that dunk on women or whatever, I bet I could beat up most of them. Okay. But that wasn't even the question. The question, is could Z last 8 2-minute rounds in my current shape with like 3 weeks of max 3 weeks of training? We're talking Christmas Day in Atlantic
since
City.
There's absolutely no way of ever answering this definitively, let's get back to the fight Friday night. Who you got? You got Tyson or Paul?
I'm dollar betting that.
I'm not asking for
it's a gimmick.
Bet. You got Tyson or you got Paul?
Tyson.
Thank you. Tyson is the correct answer. So that's Friday night.
Is it? He's 58.
It's okay. I think he's been training and he wants this, and he is going to knock that guy out, and hopefully this guy stops taking boxing matches.
It's good for boxing.
He's a YouTube star. Anyway,
so
Saturday night, we've got the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Z will not watch that one, but you bet me last time. So do
is
you
it
got
at 2 in the morning?
John Jones, or do you got the firefighter, former champion Stipe Miocic?
I can't pronounce that. Give me Jones.
All right. I'm going to take Stipe. Do you want to dollar bet that one?
Yeah.
Dollar bet. We've got a dollar bet on the UFC Heavyweight Championship, and that's how
right.
We're ending the show.
That's already. We'll do our accounting and shit next time. Hey.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
You suck, Dickinson. Bye.
Dreaming of the perfect event or longing for a clutter-free space? I'm Stephanie with I'm with Steph, where your vision becomes a reality. From magical weddings to transformative home organizing, we bring you expertise and passion to every project. Whether you're planning a grand celebration or seeking peace through organization, we tailor our services to meet your unique needs. I'm with Steph. To explore our services and connect with me directly, visit I'mWithSteph.com. Mention Electrocast for a 20% discount.
Hi, I'm Geraldine Glass, and I'm excited to share a new healing music offering, an extended version song called Joy Reboot, a unique fusion of pop, classic, rap, soundscapes, and funk to inspire collaboration and bring unity through sound. For us, Joy Reboot is music medicine, out now with Electrocast Records.